It's my pleasure this afternoon to share with this esteemed group the Perth US Asia Centre's insights on Western Australia's potential importance as a supplier of rare earth minerals to the Indo-Pacific and indeed global defence industries. Now, rare earth minerals are an integral part of the 21st century technological ecosystem. Scientifically, it comprises a group of 17 lanthanide metals, which are used in trace quantities in many high-technology products across our economy. Civilian uses include electronics, petrochemical catalysts, batteries, energy storage technologies, and high-performance magnets. But they're also an essential component in several advanced defence technologies, including satellites, lasers, communications, avionics systems, guidance and electronics warfare technologies. Now, because only trace quantities are used in any individual product, the global market for rare earths is actually of relatively modest size, about $350 million of trade per year. But due to their unique chemical properties, there are few to, in many cases, no viable substitutes for using rare earths in either their civilian or defence applications. Unfortunately, existing value chains are far from secure. At present, approximately 4/5 of rare earth oxide supply comes from China, as well as a disproportionately large share of processed products such as carbonates and magnets. For some of the so-called specialised heavy rare earths such as dysprosium, China's market share is presently 100%. By way of comparison, OPEC, a very long-standing and at some points in history feared energy cartel, accounts for only 41% of global oil output. China's near monopoly means there's no real genuine or reliable international market for rare earths trade. And its outsized market power also gives the Chinese government considerable scope to control and shape global trade patterns. Several recent trade disputes have brought these concerns into sharp relief. In late 2010, the rare earths trade between China and Japan was interrupted for almost 2 months during a diplomatic dispute over the Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea. And in more recent months, rare earths have also become implicated in the ongoing trade war between the US and China, with fears that China may deploy the rare earths weapon if the dispute continues to deepen. If China was to suspend rare earths supplies to the US, the consequences would indeed be global. Rare earths have a very complex industrial geography, with several countries involved in the cross-border value chains that mine, then refine, then process, and then manufacture these specialty products. Prices would skyrocket as these users scramble to secure supplies, with knock-on effects across the global technology ecosystem. And for the defence sector, the effects of a supply interruption would be especially severe. With few, if any, technically feasible substitutes, a lack of rare earths would compromise the integrity of defence material supply chains. At present, only 2 governments, the United States and Japan, maintain strategic stockpiles which can be released to defence industry users in such a scenario. And while these stockpiles do provide short-term cover for some parts of the defence industry, their coverage is certainly not global, nor would they necessarily last for the duration of a protracted trade dispute. Compounding matters, in April this year, the US Department of Defence issued an interim rule prohibiting its contractors from using certain rare earth components which are produced by North Korea, China, Russia or Iran. This has further complicated defence supply chains that are already under strategic strain. So there is a really clear and pressing need to develop new and more secure rare earth value chains. Whatever the outcome of the ongoing US-China trade dispute, it's simply not secure nor sustainable to rely on a single supplier for 80% of such a mission-critical defence input. And while strategic stockpiles do offer some emergency cover, there needs to be a robust supplier ecosystem to fill and then periodically refill these stockpiles if and when their use is needed. And so what we've seen is that several governments have begun efforts to diversify their rare earth supply chains. In 2009, the Japanese government's strategy for ensuring stable supplies of rare metals has sought to develop substitutes, cooperate with international partners, and sponsor new entrants to join the global market. And in June this year, the US government issued its first federal strategy to ensure secure and reliable supplies of critical minerals. This strategy outlines 6 steps aimed at growing non-Chinese supply, both from within the continental US and also from third-party countries such as Australia. Now, importantly, where we are today, Western Australia, is absolutely central to these diversification efforts. Western Australia is already the world's second largest rare earth oxide producer, accounting for 15% of global output. It's also home to many established and emerging new suppliers. One is Lynas Corporation, which produces light rare earth products at its mine in Mount Weld here in Western Australia, which are then processed at an advanced materials plant in Malaysia. Another's Northern Minerals, an emerging heavy rare earths producer and presently the only dysprosium supplier outside of mainland China. Arafura Resources, Crosslands Uranium, Iluka Resources and Hastings Rare Metals all have JORC proven resources and active development plans to soon enter the global market. However, Western Australia's value proposition as a rare earth supplier extends well beyond its geology. The state also offers a trustworthy and secure regulatory environment for potential investors and downstream customers. It has world-leading mining and engineering sector with the proven technical capability to turn geological potential into cost-competitive minerals production. Government regulations are stable and transparent, with Western Australia consistently ranked one of the world's most investment-attractive mining jurisdictions in industry surveys. Strong political relations between Australia and its Indo-Pacific partners, and the long-standing Australia-US alliance provide a political foundation of trust for commercial partnerships in this strategic sector. Indeed, it's international partnerships that are going to be essential if we're to realise these opportunities. In defence material supply chains, companies and countries cannot operate on their own. Close collaboration between producers and consumers across the investment, offtake and technological aspects of the industry are required to ensure the security and integrity of value chains. These international partnerships will more deeply knit Western Australia into defence material supply chains and in the process improve the security and reliability of these critically important global defence industries. Thank you.